Some of you may be noticing more money in your paychecks right now, and here to talk about some of the changes that are coming our way, Rebecca Walser, tax attorney, and wow, a lot to get into today. Again, on the surface, we're seeing some of these things, and we were talking about before we got started. You go, okay, tax cuts, it's a good thing.
I'm a big pro tax cutter. I wish we could cut them and afford it. That's the issue. That's really where we get into a problem, Carly. So we had an article come out. You know, we're constantly keeping our nose to the ground, ears to the ground with the news and finding out what's going on. And so an article came out that basically said, with the new tax cuts, and I hope everybody is actually seeing some additional funds in their paycheck this February, you know, because we're, you know, we're seeing it now. I hope everyone's getting that benefit. That's great. But now they project that our deficit will be $1 trillion per year. So for our friends at home that don't know the difference between our federal debt and the deficit is the annual amount that we are in the hole. Tax revenues versus spending. So a deficit is an annual thing. So when we say the tax cuts that we've had will now cause an annual deficit of about $1 trillion, that $1 trillion then gets added to the debt that we have, which is $21 trillion. So we are looking at in the next decade of $1 trillion.
Is that a record number?
Yes.
Again, I'm assuming it's always a record number.
No, this is by far and away the most we've ever had. So if you project that out with interest, they're looking at national debt of anywhere from $35 to $40 million. And the problem with that is if interest rates are around 4%, which they're not right now, but they will normalize, that is about $1.6 trillion a year in interest payments alone, which is more than we spend as a nation between Medicare and the military combined. So we are getting to a level on our debt that the interest becomes unsustainable.
Well, and we were talking about this, and I kind of asked you before. I think for so long, this has been the trend. This is what we expect. This is not new, I think, to people to hear this.
Right.
But what, I mean,
the new part is, and the part that we have to, and that is exactly the American belief. This has been the way it's been since I've been alive, and we're fine. So what's the problem? The problem is, if anyone remembers or has studied the fall of the Roman Empire, they actually imploded upon themselves. They were expanding the world, conquering militarily all of these territories that they had acquired. They had so much debt and kept raising taxes on their people that was eventually the fall of the Roman Empire. So what happens is you get to a point financially where you're paying so much interest on the debt you've accumulated that you can't service it, that it just is not mathematically sustainable. And so there is a stopping point. Americans might believe we can do this forever, but we cannot. I assure you, it is not possible.
Does this go back to, because we've heard in previous segments with you, so interesting, certainly with retirement planning, where the accountability needs to fall more on you than what the government, and certainly when you look at what the government can provide as far as their books. You have to rely on yourself. Is that the message?
That is the message. You know, it's really frustrating for me because I'm a big believer in entrepreneurism and the business owner, and my practice is built on a ton of people across the country that believe in this country and believe in the opportunity as I do. I write my book passionately about my belief in America and self-help and self-reliance. The problem is, as we give these tax cuts to help these businesses grow and stimulate the economy, we can't afford it because we will not cut spending. So we cannot give these tax cuts and not cut spending and have it go on like this forever. It will stop, it will end, and we need to realize that and take it upon ourselves to do as much as we can for ourselves and our family.
For people watching today and going, okay, what can we do? There's always got to be some solution. There's got to be some direction to go. Is that where they can sit with you and maybe figure out, okay, here's what it is.
Absolutely, Carly.
Let's plan the best road ahead.
Yeah, we can't plan for everything that could happen, the loss of Social Security, the loss of Medicare, you know, but we can take personal responsibility and do as much as we can on our own, apart from everything else that the government is doing. And just realize that we are going to be more on our own in the future than we ever have been before, ever.
Well, it may not be pretty, but thank you for bringing us the truth. We appreciate
the unvarnished truth.
I know, right? And,
yes, Carly.
And we look forward to having you back again soon,
Thanks so much. So depressing.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. There will be light, though, at the end of the tunnel. There's the website there and the phone number to call if you have any questions for yourself as well.